Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pokemon Video Game Championships Regionals Malaysia 2015. Now, don't mind me because I'm cosplaying as part of Splatoon, but I'll be your commentator for the first round of the top cut, Aqlif Putra, and we'll transition right now to our two competitors that will be on stream today, mainly Poh Yu Jie and Zain Khalid. Both Poh Yu Jie coming from Singapore and Zain from Malaysia. So we'll have a clash of two rival countries that have always been having at it since the split. So a little bit on Poh Yu Jie is that he last chance qualified into Worlds in the seniors division in 2014, and at that time he was 18th at Worlds for that division seniors. Now in the year 2015 he was the top 8 for the Singapore Nationals, but he couldn't go on because of exams. And in the top 8 of that Singapore Nationals, he had actually lost to Edward Cheung of Hong Kong. Now onwards to Zain Khalid. Unfortunately for him, he had actually bubbled at 9th place in the Singapore Nationals in the year 2015. Other than that, he is known to be a very smart player and has won a number of premier challenges in Malaysia itself. Both players are already very high skilled. They're very experienced in what they do, and it'll be exciting to what they bring to today's match that we'll be streaming very shortly. Well, an interesting fact that you may know today and that you might be picking up in the background right now is that there's a lot of stuff going on. This is the Comic Fiesta event that's currently being held in Malaysia for 19th to 20th December. It's known as the biggest ACG event in Malaysia, and if you do feel like coming down to Malaysia any time of the year, we believe that for Comic Fiesta, it's a good time to come down if you're into that kind of stuff. Now, we'll be going into team preview very soon, so keep your eyes peeled. Now, as you can see on the bottom side, we'll have Zain Khalid and Poh Yu Jie on the top. On your left, we have Politoed, Maywile, Tyranitar, Blaziken, Gothitelle, and Gastrodon coming from Zain's side. And Poh Yu Jie carrying what you could call chalk in the form of Kangaskhan, Heatran, Cresselia, Conkeldurr, Azumarill, and Amoonguss. Now, the core, Poh Yu Jie carrying the core of chalk itself, but you can see there's also the redirection and possibly belly drum from Azumarill. And oddly enough, from Zain's side, he's carrying a very unorthodox team. You could see that double weather forms in both Politoed and Tyranitar. There's also a slow mode or trick room that Gothitelle can provide, but also a very fast Blaziken. Now, this team you might have noticed the Blaziken Gothitelle combo brought together by Cybertron, Alex Cybertron Zeng in his 2015 Worlds Championship. We'll move on to the match as it goes on. Now here we go. We're looking from Poh Yu Jie's point of view. He sends out his Azumarill and Amoonguss, and Politoed and Gothitelle comes from Zain's side. Now, if all goes well, we could possibly see a belly drum come out from the Azumarill from the get-go, as this is a perfect position too. But Elmo, the Politoed, could also possibly carry Encore, which is not something that you want to happen after you belly drum. But no, he goes straight for the skull. Sorry, possibly fishing for a burn. And yes, he gets the burn. Turn 1. A very critical one there. Belly drum goes ahead. This will mitigate the burn, but it will still take a lot of chip damage afterwards if this extends any longer. Now we expect the Gothitelle, going straight for the Psychic, not going up Trick Room, possibly not going to allow a Spore from the next turns. But yes, here's the Spore, coming straight into the Politoed. Now this shuts down a few offensive capabilities from Zain's side, but with that burn, Azumarill still on field, it's just going to be whittled down on and on. And hopefully he has to be able to KO the Gothitelle with possibly a Play Rough or a Rain Boosted Waterfall. Well, you could see that possibly that the Amoonguss might play a big role here by having either the next turn for Spore, or maybe even just Rage Powder, or even could protect, since the Gothitelle could possibly two-hit KO with the next Psychic. As you can see, it did more than half in the first Psychic. And goes for a safe protect, the Gothitelle, calling possibly another Spore. Rage Powder coming from the Mungus, possibly to attract attention away. Once again, the first turn of Sleep from Politoed, and what will the Azumarill go for? Going for the knockoff instead, but no, it's already a protected into, hitting into a protected Gothitelle. Once again, the burn, while it does not mitigate its attack by that much, it whittles it down bit by bit, and as Gothitelle traps the Azumarill with its ability Shadow Tag, one way or another, that Azumarill will be going down if it doesn't take down the Gothitelle soon enough. Now, Zain's probably hoping that his Politoed could wake up distant and do some damage. But I assume that at this turn, that Poh Yu Jie really has to keep up his offensive pressure. He needs to keep up his momentum. And Zain just has to stall it out bit by bit. Politoed stays asleep for the second turn. Doesn't look too good. A knockoff coming out will be super effective. But will it pick up the KO? Yes, it does pick up the one-hit KO onto the Gothitelle. This does not look good for Zain, as revealing the safety goggles so that it cannot be spotted. But more importantly, now that it's burnt, now that the Gothitelle is gone, it can switch out to prevent any possible things happening. But it might not even want to switch out since the burn already mitigates its attack by that much. Now, possibly if the Politoed wakes up distant, it could KO the Amoonguss, and the Maywile could just also go for a KO onto the Azumarill. Maywile going for the Mega Evolution. Will it go for a Protect or Sucker Punch? A Sucker Punch could possibly happen here, but the Rage Powder from the Amoonguss might not warrant that. No, but Politoed stays asleep for the third time. Rage Powder coming up from the Amoonguss. Another knockoff possibly into the Politoed. Yes, but it will not pick up the KO. Taking out its leftovers, which is not good for it. Iron hit straight into the Amoonguss, picking up the KO, but taking Rocky Helmet damage in return. Now, for Poh Yu Jie, this might seem a little bit... it could possibly go for its last turn damaging move in an Aqua Jet, or it could just protect, or it could just switch out, possibly foreseeing a double protect from both Pokemon. But now that Kangaskhan is out, there's a chance that the Politoed could be KO'd. But what's more important here is the threat being given by the Mega Maywile. Mega Kangaskhan evolving. Will it have the Fake Out, or is it the Protect power-up variant? Protect coming from the Maywile, and I assume also from the Politoed. But no. It's going into the Politoed Aqua Jet, possibly picking it up. Yes, it picks up the KO with a critical hit. I don't know if it mattered since the rain does boost it, but it will go down distant to burn. Going a power-up punch into its own Azumarill. A very high level played, and knowing that the Protect is coming from that Mega Maywile, it's getting a free +1. It's at full HP. The rain stops, so if any fire attack comes in, it's not going to look good for Zain in the first match. So we're waiting here for Zain to send out his last Pokemon, and also for Poh Yu Jie. It turns out to be the Glaogi, the Gastrodon. Now Conkeldurr also comes out here. Now possibly Zain could still be in a good position since it resists both Pokemon, but a double edge from that Mega Kangaskhan at +1 will not be very comfortable onto the Mega Maywile at the end of the day. It could even just go straight for the oh no, but it's frustration. Similar to Protect, similar to Return, but does a sizable amount of damage onto the Mega Maywile with a critical hit on the second hit. But no, the Play Rough goes in first into the Conkeldurr, picking up the KO there. Now it's basically forcing that Kangaskhan to target only one Pokemon. But we can see that it will only go. Will it pick up the burn from the Scald here? Now with that Gastrodon. Yes, it does pick up the burn. This turns the table on Poh Yu Jie, and possibly Zain Khalid could win this first match. Things aren't looking so good here for Poh Yu Jie, unfortunately. All the Scalds burning from Zain. He's really blasting. He's really roasting him this time in the hot water. Now you could see he's just going for a power-up punch. Hopefully, maybe to pick up KO, but it's possibly a lost cause here for Poh Yu Jie, since another Scald and a Play Rough or Iron Hit will KO the Kangaskhan. An Iron Hit here, will it pick up the KO? Yes, it does. Now, congratulations to Zain Khalid for winning the first match of the top 8 cut. But remember, there's still a chance for Poh Yu Jie to come out with a second, into the second match here. Now, Zain here was quite lucky with all his skulls getting the burns on the first turn. And Poh Yu Jie here possibly not wanting the same thing to happen, not wanting the Azumarill to get burned yet again. And I believe that Zain here, he's gotten the upper hand with a little bit of luck on his side, but he did play well at the end of the day. Now we'll just have to wait to see what will they go on into the second match day. And it's obvious the reason why Poh Yu Jie did not want to bring his Heatran was because of the rain at the end of the day that was very threatening coming from Zain's side. And with the Politoed and to a Heatran in the rain, yeah, you can do the math. It's not going to be pretty, and it won't do a lot of damage to Maywile with the rain mitigating the damage at the end of the day. So let's move on to the battle scene and let's go on to the second round. Now both players here themselves they're preparing, possibly picking. I've yet to see Poh Yu Jie bring his Grishella, which I think would have been better against like the slower Pokemons, but then again, setting up Trick Room for Zain's very slow Pokemon isn't also a good choice. And since there is the Tyranitar that possibly has a dark move, and there also is a Maywile which the Grishella cannot touch. So yeah, Poh Yu Jie needs to abuse the rain with his Azumarill. But I believe that he will lead also with Azumarill and Amoonguss to get another Spore and Belly Drum. And if all goes well, we might still see the same leads. But that Kangaskhan getting the burn after a +1 is really saddening for Poh Yu Jie there. Even the burn on his Azumarill in the first turn. We'll move on to the match right now and see how Poh Yu Jie tends to pick himself back up from the first turn, first round lost. So you can see here he goes instant into a Kangaskhan Azumarill, also another fake out Belly Drum possibility, but a Blaziken and an Azumarill, a Blaziken and a Maywile coming up from Zain's side. It does not look good here for Poh Yu Jie. Now, the Blaziken still looks like it's not in such a good position, but both of them can possibly do a lot of damage to either Pokemon. And if the Kangaskhan does have Fake Out, he'd have to sack either one Pokemon or severely damage his Azumarill this turn. He instead chooses out to switch out his Kangaskhan possibly into his Amoonguss. Yes, here it comes out, but if a Superpower goes in it, it's not going to be nice. Maywile going for the Mega Evolution. Will the Azumarill go for another Belly Drum, or will he just Aqua Jet and Protect? No, it instead goes for a Protect, a very safe move here. But Superpower going into the Amoonguss, it won't be doing a lot of damage, and it will be taking the recoil in the form of a Rocky Helmet. So what will Maywile do? Will he go for a double target Iron Hit into it? Iron Hit no into the Azumarill, which of course has no Speed Boost activates. And if you notice the last turn, Blaziken had a Life Orb. So an Aqua Jet from this range could possibly KO, but we still don't know what will Poh Yu Jie do here. Will he go for a Belly Drum instead? Or will he just go for an Aqua Jet, hoping to pick up the KO on the Blaziken itself? With its defense at a -1 stage, and as well that the Azumarill has a huge power boost, he could possibly pick up the KO with an Aqua Jet. But no, he instead chooses to switch out, possibly into, this is his Heatran. A very smart switch in coming here, since both Pokemon are threatened by the Blaziken. Going for a Protect on the Amoonguss, a safe play there, but Overheat going to the Protected as usual. Play Rough going into the Heatran, doing a respectable 30% with the critical hit. Okay, revealing the leftovers from the Heatran right over there. Another speed boost there. Now, he could possibly Superpower into the Heatran, but the possibility of him switching back out into but he could possibly switch out back into a Azumarill, or he could just Rage Powder and Superpower away. Heatran seems to be a very good position here. You could Heat Wave, you could Earth Power, you could just do whatever it wants. And we know it does not look good here for Zain, as Poh Yu Jie manages to bring back the momentum into his favor. So Zain here taking his time, possibly considering whether he should switch up, but no, Rage Powder goes into this turn. Will an overheat come out? Yes, it does overheat, but it misses! Oh, looks like it doesn't manage to roast him distant. Earth Power picking up the KO onto the Blaziken with the critical hit, but that does not matter. Pity, pity, pity. The Blaziken there. Looks like the Scald first turn burns came back to bite him with the overheat missing. But that's fine, that's why we could possibly... What I assume here would come in would be the Politoed. But no, it's actually the Gothitelle. Now it will obviously it will trap both Pokemon in here, but with Among Us has the capability to protect, and the Heat Tread can just Heat Wave and possibly pick up KOs or massive damage. At the end of the day, it does not look good here for Zain at the end of the day. So Zain here has to be quite smart, predict a few things, and but no, goes out, switch out, I believe, into the Politoed. No, but actually it is into the Gastrodon. As long as he can manage... Yes, the Rage Powder comes out from the Among Us. Now, if he can manage to KO him, he could put himself... a substitute coming out from the Heatran, possibly to mitigate a number of damage coming out. Psychic picking up the KO, obviously, onto the Among Us. But now you could see Kangaskhan could possibly come out this turn, and it still does not look too good for Zain at the end of the day. He still has that Mega Mawile to handle the Kangaskhan at the back. Obviously, Mega Kangaskhan comes out here because it cannot Aqua Jet against the Glaugi or any sort. Will he go for a Psychic and a Scald possibly? A Heat Wave doesn't look like a best move here from Poh Yu Jie, and I believe an Earth Power might just go into it and hit either Pokemon. With the Kangaskhan being able to return, or in this case Frustration, into any Pokemon it wishes. But will Zain get lucky with another Scald Burn? Let's just hope. Let's just wait and see. Will it repay back the overheat miss from earlier? Kangaskhan going into its Mega Form. Does it have Fake Out, or once it has revealed Power Up Punch, maybe it's the Protect variant? Nope, instead the Heatran goes into a Protect. But if Zain is smart, he definitely won't target into it. A Power Up Punch as obviously into the Glaugi. It will pick up a +2 after this, and does not look good unless it gets a burn. But even then, it will just bring it back to neutral HP. So Scald here. He's gonna go into the Kangaskhan. Will it pick up the burn? No, it does not, but Trick Room gets set up. It still doesn't look good here for Zain, as a Sucker Punch could possibly KO the Glaugi, which in the end still isn't, which is not something that you want to see. And as you can see, that the Kangaskhan is a very good position. Fortunately for it, it wasn't burned, so it could pick up the KO on either the Glaugi, either Gastrodon or the Gothitelle here at the end of the day. Now, interestingly enough, from the Heatran, what you could possibly see is an Earth Power to help pick up the KO for Kangaskhan, but I believe a Sucker Punch could just pick them off from here. So there's nothing really to worry about. Zain taking his chances, going into Protect, possibly to waste some Sucker Punch, but I think the Sucker Punch will go into... Yes, it does go into the Gothitelle, and I think it does pick up the KO here with just the first hit. I don't think it was a critical hit. Yeah, so unfortunately for it, a Heat Wave going here, and Leftovers healing it up to a little bit more HP. For Zain here, it doesn't look like the best of possibilities, and Poh Yu Jie stunningly comes back with very smart plays, coming in with good predicts and switches. But overall, the Kangaskhan provided too much offensive pressure, and I think it was Zain's fault for not bringing in his Politoed, which could mitigate the damage and increase Scald's damage at the end of the day. So an Earth Power into the Shana, which I don't think picks up the KO. But at the end of the day, there is the Kangaskhan can just pick up the KO easily. Iron Head into, will it pick up the flinch? That's the question. Oh, it picks a critical hit onto the Kangaskhan, but with that, but will the heat wave pick up the KO back onto the slightly weakened Zeon? Yes, it does. Is that a critical hit? No, it's not. I think a very, very, very strong heat wave picking up the KO does not look good since at the end of the day, the Azumarill can just play rough. It can just belly drum, and I think, as I said before, it's a loss for Zain Khalid with only his lone Gastrodon that can really save him in this turn. So we'll be seeing each other in the third round that will decide who will go on to the top 4 of the 2015 Pokemon Malaysia Regionals in Comic Fiesta 2015. Zain can't really make any big plays. It's just a simple Earth Power play rough coming from Poh Yu Jie. Even if it misses, there's always the next turn. Yes, and Zain decides to forfeit this turn. So good match from Zain there, and once again, possibly Poh Yu Jie coming with a good comeback. Now, this last match could possibly determine who will go into the top 4. Zain here making the mistake of not bringing his Politoed, which definitely helps against the Heatran. So we'll just go on to them deciding on what Pokemon to bring into the next match. Now, as you can see, Poh Yu Jie there, he made a very good predict, I'd say, by bringing his Heatran, and unfortunately for Zain, maybe he thought he could just handle the Heatran by setting up Trick Room and having his Gastrodon at the end of the day. But as you can see, with the Kangaskhan having a +2 with Power Up Punch, it just overwhelmed him at the end. So moving on back to the battles, which is starting up very shortly. But as you can see on the bottom screen there, they're still deciding on what Pokemon to bring, and we hope that both sides play to the best of their capabilities and they show that they did their best and they have no regrets at the end of the day. So, as you can see, both teams seem to carry a dedicated Fire type, a dedicated Steel type, a dedicated Fighting types. Now, these are all archetypes that are very important in the current metagame. Even in the upcoming 2016 metagame, Steel type still dominate, Fire type still dominates, and Fighting types are still required because of the advent of all the Pokemon in the metagame which are weak to these archetypes. Now you can see both players are ready to send out the teams once again, but with a different lead. Amoonguss and Kangaskhan possibly into a power-up punch, and maybe fake Rage Powder, but here it doesn't seem too good since that the Intimidate already cuts it down to -1, and Meiwa having a lot of offensive pressure, which could potentially just pick up the KO or a 2-hit KO with either Iron Hit or Play Rough. The Amoonguss doesn't seem like it wants to be here. It could Rage Powder, but I believe the best thing for it to do is to just Spore something this turn and hope it survives this turn. So Poh Yu Jie has already inputted his moves, and Zain, as always, takes his own sweet time. Now the question here is to assess which one of Poh Yu Jie's is much more of a threat to Zain's team. Is it the Kangaskhan, which has offensive pressure, or is it the Amoonguss, which has the annoying Spore, the annoying Rage Powder, and all of those things that you see on, obviously, the mushroom called Amoonguss. So a Mega Evolution coming in from Zeon, the Mega Meiwa, and you've already seen it previously on the Kangaskhan. And it does reveal that it has Fake Out, but it goes on to the Misa instead. We believe a Spore here comes out on either Pokemon, and as the safety goggles has been revealed, it could potentially be... Oh, that's a critical hit coming there, but does it flinch? That's the question there. And it does flinch there, critical hit and a flinch. But, oh, nope, sorry, I'm sorry guys, it was the flinch onto the Gothitelle. That was a false call there. Amoonguss manages to get his Spore up, and I think just the double edge from the Kangaskhan will just pick them off easily. It's a matter of whether he wants to take down the... Oh no, but Zain instead chooses to switch out
into his Blaziken. Weirdly enough, this is a very ballsy play. Power up punch going into going into the Mega Mewile, and this of course does not look good. I believe it's just a Spore into that slot, or just another going to a Psychic into obviously taking out the Amoonguss where it's at its low HP, but a +1 Kangaskhan here does not seem to be the ideal condition that we want to be in. So once again, we have Yoshino, the Azumarill, which could potentially KO the Blaziken from this range. But if it does not have enough attack EVs, I don't know if you can pick up the KO, that's the thing. So instead goes for a Protect here. I don't know if Poh Yu Jie called it from his reaction, but both of them going into a double Protect. There's a belly drum coming up here from... I think there's a belly drum comes out here, punishing the double Protect. Maybe he thought, maybe he thinks an Aqua Jet will be able, but unfortunately no. Bad times ahead here for Zain. I don't think he can pull himself back up unless Poh Yu Jie somehow screws himself up. I don't know, by belly drumming again or play roughing into his own Kangaskhan. But Poh Yu Jie here coming in, stunningly making sure that he doesn't get any burns anymore. Going out for a switch, possibly into the into the Glaugi, the Gastrodon, but Aqua Jet going in, but like I said, the return might just pick up the KO here unless... Yes, Superpower here going into... Will it pick up the KO? I think he will after it reveals its life up previously. No, it does not pick up the KO, unfortunately, for the Kangas of Zain. Very, 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 very frustrating. And yes, there you go. It shows through the attack by Kangaskhan's frustration. I don't know whether it was a roll or he was calculated by Poh Yu Jie at the end, but once again, Zain thought he could come back here, and it showed a possibility that he could, but things don't turn out the way you want to, and I think that just the play rough and Sucker Punch here would just easily pick up the KOs at the end. So I think just a play rough coming here from the Glaugi, or maybe just another return. Zain could possibly still have a chance. He just needs to attack properly, make sure he doesn't make wrong predicts. Question is, will he just sack the Kangaskhan this turn and allow his Amoonguss to come back? I'm sorry, his back Pokemon to come back, which I think is either Heatran or Conkeldurr. But possibly Sucker Punch going into the Glaugi. Yep, obviously. And this picks up the KO, and Aqua Jet will KO the Blaziken this turn. Good game by Poh Yu Jie, making the right predicts, making the right calls, and being a little bit lucky by surviving that superpower from a live orb. I believe it's a naive superpower Kangaskhan. Now, with only Mega Mewile at the back, it doesn't seem like... I'm sorry. Yeah, with only Mega Mewile and his Gothita at the back, I don't think it seems that it's gonna be good for Zain. And Iron Hit won't pick up the KO on the Azumarill. Azumarill can just pick up KOs with Aqua Jet this turn, I believe. Going to the Mewile, yes, picking up the KO there. Good game, Poh Yu Jie. Zain Khalid making it to the top guide, but unfortunately tapping out at the top 8. We should congratulate both players for showing their best and being what trainers do best. They battle well, they do the best predicts, and a little bit of luck comes into play. So congratulations, Poh Yu Jie. He'll be going on to the next, into the top 4 of the 2015 Pokemon Video Game Championships of Regionals. I am Aqlif Putra, and it's been a pleasure commentating for this top 8 match. Hopefully we'll be seeing you in the next rounds, but I'll be tapping out and passing it to another commentator. Keep your eyes watched for the next round, which will be coming out shortly, and we'll see you in the next round.